Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bridget. If you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate the support. If you are new, please subscribe before you go. One major challenge people face, or one major issue surrounding immigration, is knowing the right documents required before you can apply for your visa. In this video, I'll be discussing the documents that teachers require to be able to apply for their visa successfully without being contacted to provide further information, or without delay, or worst case scenario, without being rejected. Stay tuned. So if you're a fan of this channel, you already know that we've discussed the various avenues available for you to get into teaching in the UK if you're interested. And one major thing we've been talking about is the QTS application. We've also discussed job application tips. We've talked about interview tips as well. As I mentioned in my previous video, people have actually been successful and have finally arrived in the UK and are teaching. This is for those of you who are still in the process, okay, going through the process. And this experience is from those who have already been successful as well. So you'll find this video very, very relevant to you if you are preparing to join or you are preparing to come to the UK to practice. For the purpose of this video, I'll be grouping the documents into 3 different groups. So I have the general. So it's general because it's not specific to teachers. All other applicants of skilled worker visas need these documents. And then I'll come to specific. So that's specific to teachers. And then we move on to other ones. Others, because those ones were not asked for by Home Office. But to me, it's relevant to add them so that they wouldn't come back to you to prove other things or delay your visa application in any way. Okay, as a teacher applying to come and work in the UK, you will be applying for a skilled worker visa. So straight to general documents. The first documents to consider, or the first documents you will need, is your passport. So you will need to have your passport available. You have to make your passport available. The second document is a police clearance or police certificates. You need this because your job requires you to undergo a police clearance check. So you need to provide this document as well. It's also an immigration requirement. So you need to provide this police clearance certificate. And then the third document under the general is the TB test certificate. But this is dependent on the country you are in, or the country you are applying from, or countries you've lived in for a certain period of time. All this information will be provided to you, and you will know whether you need to provide a TB test certificate or not. And mind you, the TB test certificates cannot be gotten from any hospital, like just any hospital at all. There are specific hospitals you can visit for your TB test certificate. So I'm going to leave a link to the government website. You can head over there, read about TB test certificates, and then check from your country whether you need it or not. And then within your country, you'll be able to assess and check which hospitals or which clinics you can have this certificate, or you can have this TB test done. Now, I forgot to mention this. When it comes to the criminal record certificate or the police clearance or the police certificate, what you may have to provide more than one if you've stayed in more than one country in the past 10 years. So for every country that you've spent up to 1 year in the past 10 years, you have to provide a certificate for it. All right, in the past 10 years, if you've lived in any country for up to 1 year, it can be intermittently, maybe not continuous, but when you put a months together, it's up to 1 full year. You have to provide a certificate from that country. So let me give a specific example. If you've in the past 10 years you've lived in, let's say, Nigeria for 5 years, you've been in Ghana for 2 years, and you've been in US for 2.5 years maybe, and you've been in Canada for 6 months, okay, you need to provide police certificates for Nigeria, Ghana, USA, but not Canada, because you've not spent up to 1 year in Canada. I hope you understand. Now let's move on to the specific documents required for teachers' visa application on skilled worker visa to the UK. The first document is the ECCTIS or the SOC certificates. That's statements of comparability certificates, which you will get from applying on the ECCTIS website, ECCTIS website. You are going to get that document from uploading your school qualifications, your degree or your master's qualifications, and then they will generate a statement of comparability for you. You will also need an English proficiency certificate from the same ECCTIS. And it's the same document. So when you apply, you can actually apply for these two documents together. And they are going to give you a PDF format online that you can download and attach it during your application. And then also you will need to provide your academic qualification. Let me put it in simple terms. So that's whether you have degree, master's, PhD, up to whatever level you have. Just attach those certificates to support your education. And then if you have statement English proficiency letter as well, include that. Even though you use these same documents to apply for your statement, your English proficiency from ECCTIS, immigration requirements also ask you to, immigration office also ask you to provide these documents for your visa application. Then the other documents you have to provide, or the other documents you need to add to all these documents we've talked about, but it's not asked for by Home Office, includes your QTS certificates, your certificates of sponsorship, which will be given to you by your employer, your offer letter, which will also be given to you by your employer. And then finally, your marriage certificate, if it's applicable. That's if you're married, you include your marriage certificate. So you see, it's not that difficult. Most of these documents are readily available to you. The only document that may be a bit of a hassle for you is getting the ECCTIS statements of comparability and English proficiency certificates. You have to apply online. I'll leave the link to the application in the description box as I normally do. You create an account. You can apply for the SOC and the English certificates online, and then they'll provide a PDF when it's available, and then you can easily just go ahead and download. But it's not free. At the moment, it's £140 plus VAT. Now, after providing all these documents for your visa application, just go for your biometric appointments, go back home and relax, because you are definitely going to be successful in this application. All right. So that's all about the requirements or the required documents for successful visa application for teachers coming on skilled worker visa to teach in the UK. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, let's hit our agenda of immigration by end of 2024 together, and let's share our success story together. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you again.